Have you ever wondered why, despite all of your efforts, your health or fitness isn't improving? You're working so hard, but the needle isn't moving. And many times the needle's going in the opposite direction. You're getting worse. What if I told you you're focusing on the wrong things? This post or this video is inspired by a friend of mine, Dr. Kirk Parsley. And Dr. Parsley is a former Navy SEAL who now specializes in sleep. He was a SEAL, doctor for the SEALs, hard charger. So this guy isn't like a Buddhist monk or anything. This is a guy who's, when you're in the Navy SEALs, you don't just sit around and do nothing. You're out actually taking action. So this guy's a hard charger. And him and I have a very similar philosophy when it comes to training. We're both all for hard work if you're prepared, and also if you're putting the effort into recovering. So I got a lot of screen shares today. I'm going to go over this post by Dr. Parsley, and we're going to talk about why you're probably not getting the results that you would like. And then I'm going to give some specific examples of people I've worked with over the past 30 years who got dramatic improvements once they kind of focused on changing what they were emphasizing in their journey, so to speak. So let's pull up the post by Dr. Parsley that inspired this. So here we go. All right, this is Dr. Parsley's post. Okay, as you can see, let me make sure I'm sharing it. Oh, I got to share it. There we go. Here we go. So this is Dr. Parsley's post. Most people try to optimize the 20%, supplements, gadgets, shortcuts. I throw peptides in there. For some people, TRT. I would also put exercise in that 20%. But human biology still runs on fundamentals. Want better sleep, energy, hormones, focus, and resilience. Prioritize the 80%. And he goes into this health, 80% sleep, 20% exercise, which I totally agree with him 100%. Performance, 80% recovery, 20% intensity. Nutrition, 80% real food, 20% supplements. Stress, 80% lifestyle, 20% breath work. Just simple stuff like getting outside, taking time to relax. You can do all the breathing drills you want. If you're running around with your hair on fire and you're not making good choices, that's not going to happen. Hormones, 80% circadian alignment, 20% medical protocols. Absolutely correct. You can prop yourself up with the hormones, but if you continue to live a artificially lit circadian disrupting lifestyle, you will pay for it, like I did when I got ulcerative colitis and then eventually a staph infection. Focus, 80% sleep quality, 20% stimulants. Stimulants are a tool, but if you rely on pre-workout stimulants to prop you up to make up for bad sleep, you're going to be in a big trouble. Longevity, 80% consistency, 20% bio-optimization. Absolutely. Little choices made consistently every single day. Well-being, 80% nervous system regulation, 20% mind shift sets. Well-being, like 80% nervous, learning how to shut off. Joel Jamieson talks about probably even more important than learning how to dial up the intensity is learning how to relax, calm down, and sit quietly, because our modern world is just this constant chronic stress that nobody really shuts off ever. You can't outperform poor fundamentals. Prioritize the 80% and the rest will take care of itself. And that is what I have seen over the last 30 years, particularly in the last 3, working in a medical practice, where I see people that have done all these fancy mineral balancing protocols. They're doing LifeWave patches. They're doing TRT. They're doing everything under the sun, and they're still not getting results because they're focusing on the gadgets and the shortcuts. They're not focusing on, really relaxing, really learning how to relax and shut off, and making, things like sleep and recovery a priority. So let's get into some specific examples. Let's end this screen share. And this first one is going to be a young lady named Rachael. Such a great story, because not only do I have great before and after pictures from this young lady, I have a whole podcast I did with her. This is her before and after. And this is 3 to 4 years of 3 to 4 times a week, 5 a.m. boot camp. In the last 6 to 8 months, she added a second session. So she was training twice a day, and she was actually gaining weight. And if you go to SoundCloud, oh, wait, let me make sure I am sharing this. Oh, I am not sharing it. There we go. Boom. There's Miss Rachael. Picture on the left. 3 to 4 times a week at 5 a.m. boot camp. She wasn't sleeping. She wasn't taking care of herself. She wasn't eating well. So we got her, when she came to me, we got her switched from focusing on the 20%, which was exercise, to focusing on the 80%, which is, sleep, managing stress, doing lifting that is more in line for what she wanted, to do, which was change her body composition as opposed to just exercising to get tired and exhausted, which usually leads to overeating. And, all three of these examples I'm about to share with you, I have stayed in touch with all of them through social media, following them. And, I've worked with Rachael for 6 or 7 years. They've all done a great job of maintaining, their gains, so to speak, because they've all, everything we did was to change the lifestyle, not just some magic fitness program. It was a complete lifestyle change. And you can go to, let's stop the screen share. You can go to SoundCloud, and that's where you're going to find, we'll pop it up here. If you go to SoundCloud, you can actually listen to the entire interview that Rachael and I did together. And it's a really great interview because it talks about the mental games that she had to go through and how long it took her to change her mindset from just rolling hot all the time to actually taking care of herself, and the mind games she had to go through to prioritize her self-care. And it's not easy to change your habits, right? And so that's a really good a good thing for you to listen to if you're struggling with learning how to take care of yourself. So let's move on to our next one. The next person is Suzanne, who actually is started to train people for herself now. And this is, let's see here. You cannot serve two masters. This is a post on the Vitality Sisterhood that she did for me. This is actually a post that she did on something called the Misfits, that she was a group of my ladies lifting team. Let's pull her up here. There she is. And she's actually, I think she was in her 40s when these were taken. She's in her 50s now, and she's actually training people herself now, which is awesome. So this is her. She switched from, basically she was running marathons and gaining weight. There's also, I will put a YouTube interview that we did together in the links below, and you can listen to her. She was running more and more and more, and she was gaining weight. And this is what happens when we focus on sleep, lifestyle. Let me make sure we're sharing the screen. This is like, I think 3 or 4 months this change happened. We switched from, running a lot to lifting weights and eating, good food and sleeping and prioritizing self-care. She focused on the 80% that really moved the needle instead of the 20%. And now she's teaching people the same thing, which is awesome. She's done a really good job maintaining that lifestyle. So I will put the link to that below. And so the last example is a guy named Eric Banks. Eric was on The Real World. Who knows what I talk to him every once in a while. He's done a really good job of keeping the weight off. He kept harassing me. Let me find Eric's before and after here. He kept harassing me about working with me. And I was like, dude, I can't work with you. You're not serious about changing your lifestyle. Because Eric was actually, he still is a really good athlete. He's a very athletic guy. This is a Huffington Post article that was done on him. This was over a series, I think 3 to 4 months. And he was training, he would try to train really hard to get in shape for these shows, but his lifestyle was atrocious. And so I kept telling him over and over again, I'm like, hey man, like until you're serious about like making some changes in your lifestyle, your eating habits, some of your recreational habits, we need an 80-20 rule for you with your lifestyle. He started putting focus on sleep. He started focusing on, you know, getting outside and walking more and being more active. And then he was on the road a lot. So we came up with a dietary strategy he could stick with. And he's done a pretty good job to this day of keeping that off. So this is what happens when you focus on the 80% that Dr. Parsley talked about, as opposed to like the gimmick workout or, you know, the gimmick, you know, the all these tools. You focus on the foundation, which is getting outside, managing stress, eating really good food. You focus on that base level foundation, and then the tools become something that'll help you. If you focus on the tools, you're not going to get good long-term results. So there's 3 examples of what happens when you switch from focusing on the 20% to focusing on the 80%. And when you focus on the 80%, you get better, longer, sustainable results. And the 80% is walk outside 3 times a day, after meals, preferably 10 minutes, get the light in your eyes in the morning in particular, get your circadian rhythm in order. The circadian rhythm is the foundation of your health. It runs your hormones, your digestion, your sleep. You get outside multiple times a day, that's going to set your clock, your sleep. You know, when you sleep good and you're not sleep deprived, you're going to have a much easier time controlling your appetite, et cetera, et cetera. You're going to make better choices. You'll have more energy. You'll be more motivated to train. Get a protein at every meal. You know, fistful for most people is going to be great. You know, chicken, fish, steak, seafood, every single meal, a good fistful of protein. And then the rest can be, you know, vegetables, potatoes, whatever you want to fill in. It's just that protein is key. Drink high quality water, preferably spring water, and then get the lights off at night and then have some sort of social connection. If you're making an effort on all of those things and you don't have to do them all at once, I focus on getting outside first because the sleep is the foundation of everything. You're going to see much better long-term results. And then if you do want to throw a few tools in there, you know, maybe a peptide, maybe a supplement, you're actually going to get better results. But if you focus on the tools and you focus on the tricks, you're not going to have, you know, if you focus on dunking basketballs instead of learning how to dribble with both hands, you're not going to have a very successful basketball career. Okay. So keep it simple. Focus on that 80%, like Dr. Parsley said, and you're going to see much better results. If you need support in this journey, come to Vitality Brotherhood, Vitality Sisterhood, join the groups, constantly in there reminding you about accountability. If you need help with accountability, if you're totally overwhelmed and need some help getting things in order, just go to vitalitybrotherhood.com, hit the coaching button in the top corner, and set up a call with me or message me on Instagram, drop me a message, and we can chat about working together, and I can help hold you accountable. Of course, this video is sponsored by Pharaoh, my friend Charles Mayfield's company. Oh, on a side note, Dr. Parsley has a great supplement that I help with people that are really struggling with sleep. It's called Sleep Cocktail or Sleep. I can't remember what the name he calls it now, but he's got a great sleep supplement that I have actually packets of it when I travel. I usually don't need to take anything to sleep, but when I travel or I'm under a little bit of stress, I'll use one of his sleep supplements, and it's fantastic. So if you're struggling with your sleep, and getting outside and doing all the other things, Dr. Parsley has a great sleep remedy, I believe it's called. It was Sleep Cocktail for a while now. I believe it's Sleep Remedy, I believe. I have some in-house. I'm pretty good about my light environment here. When I travel, I use it because it kind of, the stress of traveling usually throws my sleep off a little bit. And then back to Charles, my friend Charles Mayfield. He has a lard-based skin product, which is absolutely incredible. It will literally reduce the wrinkles on your face instantly because it's so hydrating to your skin. I have a bunch of ladies and even a couple of guys in the men's group who just love it. The skin food. You can go to pharaoh.shop. You can use the code GYM15 to get 15% off. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised what it does to your skin. So have yourself a great day. Come check out Vitality Brotherhood, Vitality Sisterhood. I'd love to answer your questions in there and see you in there. Have yourself a great day. If you know someone who would benefit from this video, please share and like and subscribe. Take care. Don't forget to get outside.